Describe in one word how you felt when you received your first paycheck.
Is proud.
Not surprised.
Independent.
Why? Why is it so little?
Besides being super excited, I feel like I'm relieved.
Extremely exciting.
How did you spend your first salary?
I spent my very first paycheck on gas money so I could drive myself all around in California.
I was a much calmer person, so I didn't do anything. Just felt like money goes back to where it's supposed to be.
I remember I saved most of it because I was saving up for a music festival, but I still went for pizza with my friends.
With that money, I was able to buy anything I wanted, like a lot of chocolate or some new clothes. But I bought a new phone instead of that, since my last one was broken.
Besides leaving half to my parents, I went straight to the barber shop, to the hairdresser, and perm my hair. And it became my identity, just like the avatar in the metaverse.
I bought myself a nice dinner at a Michelin 3-star restaurant and saved most of my first salary. I'm such a good kid.
Hey guys, welcome to What's the Talk? It's CGTN's first soft debate show. I'm Yang Xinmeng. What you are seeing now is our special stage in the metaverse, where our guests from all around the world will be joining us, meeting each other, and debating. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are currently streaming on various media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Weibo, WeChat, Bilibili, Yangshipin, and of course, CGTN's official website. Now, feel free to join our discussions and share your opinions anytime with the hashtag What's the Talk. We are very much looking forward to hear your thoughts. Well, you just watched a video of our guests talking about their first paychecks. I still remember the excitement receiving mine. It was new, it was exciting. It marks a big change in the life. I couldn't wait to run off to celebrate because it's the first step. It's the first sure step towards financial independence after all those years. But what should you do with it? What is a smart way? Reward yourself for your hard work or prepare to be more financially stable? That actually represents two main concepts of consumption, spending or saving. So we are going to talk about that today. And for this topic, we are again very honored to have our guests back. And we have a new friend today, Valeria Sadzanova. She's from Belarus. Welcome. Join us. Tell us about yourself, Valeria.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you, Xinmeng. My name is Valeria, but you also can call me Lera. I'm from Belarus, and it's a landlocked country in Eastern Europe. I'm currently in China, in Shanghai, and I'm doing my master's degree here in Shanghai Jiao Tong University. My major is culture industry management. Although I'm a student, but I also have a lot of internship experiences in such companies as VSPN versus Programming Network, eSport company, and electronic materials technology company, and others. So also I do some part-time jobs in my free time. So it's so exciting to see myself in Metaverse. And thank you so much for having me. Just cannot wait to start the debate with all of the other guests here. Thank you.
Oh, we are so glad to have you on board. Welcome. And also let's welcome our familiar debaters. First, Anne, welcome back.
Hi, Xinmeng. Hi, everyone. This is Anne. I'm currently in the US, Jersey City, and I am a social media influencer, so-called social media influencer. I'm a vlogger, and I'm also trying to be an entrepreneur, just starting my educational brand. So I'm looking forward to learning a lot from you guys today.
Okay, welcome back. And Enoch, nice to see you again.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again. My name is Enoch Wong. I'm from Hong Kong, China. I've been working in higher education sector for just over a decade. Now I'm based in Beijing, China, working at Tsinghua University as the senior manager for international cooperation and online education. And I'm passionate about spending money now, which is way better than saving for the future.
Well, you just revealed your position for today's show. Can't wait to see your performance. And Jim, welcome back.
Hi guys, thanks again for having me back. Yeah, my name is Jim Fields. I think I'm the oldest person here, and I had my first job selling magazines when I was probably about 13 years old, which was 20 years ago. So I'm revealing my age. And I've been working ever since, but also trying to save as much money as possible in my 20 years of work experience. So I'm excited to go toe to toe with Enoch today and the others and get into some of these topics.
Okay, good to see you again. And Guxi, welcome back.
Hi friends. I'm Guxi, co-founder of an artificial intelligence startup and also a certified fitness coach and anchor of a fitness podcast. And I pretty much started the startup with my co-founders at a very young age, around 21, 22 years old. So I'm super interested to see how two sides are debating because I'm not sure I made the right decision. And more about saving and spending because I never thought about that question. So I'm really looking forward to seeing interesting points coming out of this debate.
Hey, glad to have you back. And last but not least, Mahal from Poland.
Hi everyone, good to see you once again. So I'm Michał, I'm a procurement specialist in a global pharmaceutical company. I also write music part-time after hours, and I'm from Poland, a small city in the central Poland, and I live in Łódź. And yeah, I'm really glad to be here once again, and I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say about the spending, saving, all the money talk. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming back. And so glad to have you all here. Now, before we move on to the debate, we did another Vox Pop asking young people's opinions on this topic, spending or saving. So first, let's see what they have to say.
I prefer saving money.
I prefer spending my money.
Spending over saving.
Spend money.
我会更喜欢花钱。
30岁之前网络消费是可以接受的。
Spend money and save money at the same time.
I will invest on myself.
Spend more money on entertainment and social activities.
Save money for important things in life. You never know what will happen, and you never know when will you need that money.
Things in the future are quite uncertain. When we try to save the money for future, there are possibilities that you don't get the chance to spend it.
When I started working, I realized we are young only once in your life and you need to spend money and enjoy your life.
But there's a difference between buying liabilities and buying assets, and I believe the latter is a healthier way of spending and a better way of investing.
把它当作是一种投资，比如说舞蹈呀、绘画呀，它可能在未来有一天会变现，是倍百倍的增长。
It's my belief that the return of investment on these will be more sustainable and conducive to my future career.
If money could buy confidence and a sense of belongings, happiness, utility, then it is really a good deal.
透过消费培养自己的消费观，明白自己如何把金钱消费的合理。使自己的消费观更加成熟。
Well, there were some quite interesting understandings. I hope that brought you some inspirations in the debate. And I know you've all chosen your sides already, right? Enoch just said his. He is totally a spender. Well, the lineup is here. Enoch and Lara chose to spend. Anne and Jim are savers. Guxi and Mahal, again, are reserving their views for now. They are on the neutral side again. Well, 3 teams today with 3 gentlemen and 3 ladies. This is the most balanced lineup in our show so far. I can't wait to see some splashes later on. And as usual, we did a survey on social media beforehand. So let's take a look at the poll first. Well, it looks like more people prefer to plan and save. That's very cautious. Among all the votes we received, about 65.5% of people chose to save money. That's a very mature choice. There's this trend that young people would be seen as successful if they had the in-style dresses, luxury bags, brunches at the fancy restaurants, and nice holidays on the beach. And there's words for it: posh but poor. We call it 精致穷 in Chinese. It's pretty trending recently, but apparently, look at the poll. They are the stingy ones. Stingy but rich. We call it 抠门户 in Chinese. So, guys, which lifestyle do you prefer? Now get ready and let's take a look at the debate rules.
Our rules are as follows. Each team consists of 2 players. The oppositions will battle it out during the first round to attract the neutral team to join their sides in order to battle together in the second round. And Team Neutral has the opportunity to ask both oppositions questions after their statements. Round 2 is a free debate, and everyone gets to raise their questions. But please do remember that the individuals in the neutral position have the right to turn cold. Therefore, they can still change their minds after the second round, based on what impressed them the most.
Well, welcome back. So are you all clear about the rules? Now, to those of you who are watching, you can also get involved by sharing with your ideas, concerns, questions, or stories. We welcome all different views. Just comment below and let us know. Now, teams, spend or save? Let's start our debate with the spending team. Time limit is 2 minutes for each person, and after the first arguments from both sides, the neutrals can ask questions. That's from our first spender, Enoch.
Cool. Explain to me again why enjoying life when I retire is more important than enjoying life now. This is really a conundrum for most of us, especially for Generation Z and young people like us. So let me outline quickly why spending money now is better than saving for the future. So first, unfortunately, many young people cannot afford to do both. Not every 20-something make enough money after paying for rent, food, or even student loan to be able to afford to save or even have ability to travel. So I do think it's important to enjoy life when you're young and you're going to regret it if you don't. Second, between a pandemic, climate crisis, ongoing armed conflicts, and inflation that causes rising energy bills, petrol and food prices, it's no surprise that saving for the future seems like a very risky choice. So my suggestion is cut your losses and spend your hard-earned cash on making the best out of a bad situation. Bring meaning to your life, including passion project or life experience that matters. If the future looks so uncertain at best, why bother saving for it now? And third, you're only going to live once in your 20s. So really just enjoy life now as opposed to the future, because we have lost almost 3 years to COVID. And sometimes really delayed gratification can simply mean no gratification at all. And finally, let me ask the opposition this. Whether we like it or not, we are all going to die. So would you rather die with thousands and millions of dollars to your name, or die with zero, having spent your money on additional adventures and generous gifts during your lifetime? The last thing you want when you reach to the end of your days on this planet is an account full of money, yet a life short of wonderful experiences you want to have but fail to plan for. The odds are you will live to 90, but also you could be hit by a bus tomorrow. So spend the money today, don't save for the future, which might not even exist. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Enoch. And we have our saver, Anne.
All right, so do you know what feels good? Right, spending the money and get the latest version of a smartphone every year makes you feel good. But do you know what feels even better? It's when you see the long number in your saving account. So here's my point. Spending money is like having a crush. Spending a great amount of money on a thing you want is like finally having a relationship with a dream guy. However, you know how couple works. Before the relationship, you will be like, oh, I love him so much. And after that, they always turn out to be like, he's just fine. See, money you have saved represents possibilities and hopes. When you spend the most of your money out, the colorful possibilities just become a black and white Chanel bag or a PS5. I know saving or spending money is a personal choice, but taking responsibility for oneself is a compulsory course for everyone. When I was studying abroad, my mom gave me like 2K pocket money every month, and she advised me to save part of it for emergency. However, I was so excited to finally take control of my money, and just like what Enoch said, just enjoying life now. So I spent them all on traveling, fashion items, and tequila shots. At that time, I was not aware that I was going to be in trouble very soon. I had a serious infection in my teeth and I needed root canal treatment immediately, which cost me $3,000 because my health insurance expired just a few days before the incident. I asked my mom and she is kind enough to lend me the money but asked for a payback every month. So from that moment, I realized that me being able to spend all the money is only because I knew that my parents is my security blanket. But I can't and shouldn't rely on them forever. So how am I going to do that? Well, I should save money and save myself from an emergency next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. I already see the clashes between the teams. And Guxi and Mahal, each of you can only ask one question. So think carefully. It will help you make the decision in the next round. Guxi, any questions for which team?
Yeah, I do have a question to the saving team, because I always believe in one thing, that people will keep observing how you treat yourself, then treat you the same way. So will saving money put young people in a frugal position and thus cause a frugal social interaction and put you in a circle like that, and you're surrounded by the environment like that? What would you say about it?
Well, comparing to, enjoying life now, but with guilt and worries, I prefer to spend the money, enjoy my life, create more room for more fun. So many people think you have to make a choice between saving money and having fun, but this is actually a poisonous mentality because, truthfully, you should always set a little money aside for enjoyment and for social. But when you have savings, you can do this guilt-free and without any worry that you'll be stressing out. So yeah, that's my thought.
Got it.
Okay, Mahal, any questions?
Yes, my question is to the spending team. So I wanted to ask, this is something that Anne mentioned. So do you ever feel regret after spending money on something? Do you sometimes feel like you've wasted money? Because I have, connected to my hobbies, there are many people who, for example, play an instrument, but they actually spend, let's say, 90% of their time not actually playing the instrument, but maybe researching some new guitar, researching some new microphone or something. And they're so into buying that they don't really appreciate what they already have. So they are not the better players overall in the end. So I wanted to ask you, do you ever feel regret after spending money? Or because I feel like just having, spending all the money all the time kind of might make you not appreciate what you already have.
Sure, I think we only feel regret if we don't learn. And I think as young people, really, we are in a stage where we have to make a mistake now. Why be young if we don't make mistake, right? So yes, I think everyone feel regret, but we have to learn from it. And without spending, how do we learn from mistakes? One. Second is that I would feel more regretful if I were to die tomorrow and leaving thousands and thousands of savings and wasted. I think what really matters is, for example, I was doing this research on average. I think it was just this US survey where Anne is from at this moment, where on average Americans die with $60,000 in their bank accounts at the end of their life. This is $60,000 wasted. This is a regret I would have if I were to die today.
Okay, thank you guys. And now let's move on to the second speakers. Lara from the spending team.
Hi, hello. So I am also on the spending money side with Enoch, but I think that it is obvious that we need to spend money within a reason, and I can find at least two options that make sense when it comes to spend money or splurging. The first one is, of course, experiences, because in my opinion, it's more important to have a wealth of experiences than a big number in our bank account. Life is short and there is so much out there. We should use our hand-earned cash to explore the globe, try new cuisines and meet interesting people from different cultures. And as for me, I have been to at least 10 countries already, and I was traveling. And as for now, I have a lot of good experiences while I'm still young. And the second one is, of course, investments. But here by investments, I mean more than just diversified portfolios of financial assets. Anything we do in our spare time is an investment, like spending time with our family is an investment in personal life, and putting money into hobbies like Michal do, right? He spent money on musical hobbies. It's an investment towards personal fulfillment. For me, as I pushed the spending envelope a little more every year, I realized that I didn't miss the money. My lifestyle actually got better. So the more we spend, the more that's done for us. For example, purchasing coffee beans for coffee brew is cheaper, but it takes more time. But on the other hand, buying it from a barista has a professional quality and takes less time. So the work has been paid for. The more you spend, the more time you're saving, since someone else is doing the legwork for you. And this is my opinion.
Thank you, Lara. And Jim, your statements?
Yeah. So I think for me, when we talk about spending versus saving, one important difference is thinking about what it actually means to spend and what it means to receive something. And I think about an example of when I was growing up as a kid. And one of the big family traditions for my family and many families in America is before Christmas every year, your parents will say whether you've been good or bad. And if you've been a good little boy, like I always was, you would gather a lot of presents, and Santa or someone would arrange those presents underneath the Christmas tree. And I would spend weeks before Christmas came looking at those presents, anticipating what they were, picking them up and shaking them, seeing if I could hear what was inside. And that anticipation of receiving something amazing was the most exciting part. And then Christmas morning comes and you open the thing, you see what's inside, you realize that it's some toy or another, and that anticipation is gone as you've got the actual thing. So and I think spending can be the same way. We can all go on Amazon.com or Taobao and see some amazing product, and there's that anticipation and excitement, that dopamine release that you're going to get some incredible thing. And you click purchase, and then weeks later, you've probably forgotten that you even bought the thing. It shows up at your house, you get it, and you're like, oh, okay. Now I just have yet another, plunger for my bathroom, right? The anticipation of spending, I agree, it's very exciting. But when you actually spend, you end up with something, and it's not ever going to be as exciting as it was cracked up to be. So that's my first point. My second quick point is, I think that I think the point that Valeria mentioned is interesting about the fact that you can spend money on experiences, and those can be valuable. But I would disagree a little bit about the fact that you need to spend money. A lot of the experiences I've had in my career have been actually making money. Again, going back to Little Jim in the US, I had a lemonade stand, and I would stand on the street. I'd be crushing lemons, and I'd be adding sugar and putting in ice and pouring lemonade for my neighbors. And they'd be paying me, between $1 to $5 or even $20. Some nice people would just give me $20 and say, oh, young man, make me a glass of lemonade. And I made a lot of money, and I still had a wonderful experience. So I don't necessarily think there has to be this conflict.
Okay, I think that's time's up. Jim? Yep, thank you. You can save that for us in a free debate session. Now, Gushi and Mahal, any questions, judgments, doubts?
Okay, this time I'll switch to spending because I kind of want to go further into the ability environment. Like the competence for handling money is obviously seen as a core skill. So how can we trust younger generations' capability to reign over wealth and make better use of money when they don't even know how to start with small and growing sensitiveness towards money? This is my question.
Okay, I think that this is a good question. Yes, and as Enoch just said, we live just once, right? And we have only 120s. Like a young generation should find a lot of opportunities to make money and to try things, because when you will be in the 50s or 60s, you will have, for example, a lot of money or something, but you will not have enough health or wellness to do something, like to experience something or to travel. Or yes, I think that a young generation should focus more on making more money, like getting a raise on a part-time job to increase its intakes instead of saving in the bank account. Well, also in my opinion, it's never spend more money than you make, because in my opinion, we should not spend every penny we earn. Like, we can divide our money into 3 buckets, and there should be also part of savings for future, but it's should be a small part, like for emergency. But yeah, so that is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Lara. Mahal?
Okay, so I have a question this time to the saving team. So a bit of history about me. When I was an university student, in my part-time job at the pub, I was incredibly broke. So basically, I had to think about each and every purchase I made every day. And when I got a full-time job, I entered the working market. I kind of loosened up a bit on this. And I felt that not having to think about every purchase was really liberating for me. So I wanted to ask you, what is your threshold for saving? So for example, because I know some people who earn a decent pay but are so incredibly stingy, and I feel like there are different thresholds that you can have for saving. And what is your opinion about this?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. So I think everyone's threshold is different, but most of the thresholds that I've heard that make sense are usually a multiple of your living expenses. So I can't give you a specific dollar amount or whatever, because everyone's expenses are different. The one that I think makes sense a lot is probably taking your current living expenses and multiplying those by 6 if you're being kind of fast and loose, or maybe even up to 12 if you want to be a bit more conservative. Because as other folks have said, unexpected things can come up, illnesses or global pandemics or any number of things can, occur. And so it's important to have a little bit of a nest egg ready. But, the nice thing, for instance, I was in your shoes too. When I was in college, I had college loans getting out of university, and my monthly expenses, for instance, when I was first living in China, I think my rent was about 1,500 RMB a month for like a tiny little apartment, like around $200 US. And I was eating, ramen and drinking beer. So my monthly expenses were very, very low. So actually putting that amount of money away wasn't too hard. So if you can keep your expenses low, you can also figure out a way to stretch out your savings as long as possible.
Okay, thank you guys. And Guxi and Mahal, you are going to choose a team to battle together in the next round. Tell me your decision.
I think I'll go with saving team this time.
Saving team, Guxi, yeah. Saving team. And Mahal?
Yeah, I think just to balance things out, I think I'm going to go to the spending team.
That's very nice.
You don't have to. But okay, we have a 3 versus 3 lineup here. Tell me your why did you take this move?
I think I echo a lot with what Anne just said, and also the saving team just mentioned, and so also Jen mentioned about the investing in the future, because saving has something somehow to do with insecurity, and it's more about thinking in long term. And it's not worth the sacrifice with the current life quality, but only will encourage us to arrange our life better with more limited resources, as Jim just mentioned. So I kind of more agree with Anne and Jim's points. Sorry,
okay,
Anna. Yeah.
And Mahal.
Yeah, so for me, a few years ago, I would just stand on the side of saving money, like no questions asked. But right now, I think in this crazy time that we're living in some ways, sometimes spending the money now can save you money in the long run, in a way, because the money, for example, here in Poland, we have a big inflation rate. So it's usually better to buy something now than to buy something, in 6 months or something like this. So I think money has to flow. And I'm really with the spending team on this one for now. And yeah, I'm interested to see what everyone has to say in the free debate.
Okay. Thank you. And now we can see this is the new lineup for the next round. We have 3 person in the spending team, Lara, Mahal, and Enoch. And we also have Guxi, Jim, and An. They are the savers. And At the same time, I see some new audiences tuning in. Now we are having a debate here on the consumption concepts of Gen Z, spending versus saving. So what's your opinion? Would you rather to be posh but poor or stingy but rich? And just in case that you're not familiar with us, here's our rules. So producers, please play our rules again. Thank you.
Our rules are as follows. Each team consists of 2 players. The oppositions will battle it out during the first round to attract the neutral team to join their sides in order to battle together in the second round. And Team Neutral has the opportunity to ask both oppositions questions after their statements. Round 2 is a free debate, and everyone gets to raise their questions. But please do remember that the individuals in the neutral position have the right to turn cold. Therefore, they can still change their minds after the second round, based on what impressed them the most.
Okay, that was the rules. And we just finished our first session of debate. Now, which team do you support? Who is your favorite debater? What is your insight for this topic? And do you have any questions for the debaters? Just send your comments below. Now let's move on to the next round. This is going to be a free debate session. Each team has 3 minutes in total. We have a timer on the screen. Remember to keep an eye on it. And I will also cut you out once the timer stops. So Gushi and Mahal, you are going to debate with your team together in this session. But remember, you have a chance to turn code afterwards, meaning that you can change your mind depending on how the session goes. So use it wisely. Now, this time we start from team saving. Savers, who wants to go first?
I'll save myself to be the second person.
Okay. Ladies?
And do you want to go first? Gucci goes first, I think.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to, yeah.
All right, I'll just make my point pretty short because I just chose my side, so I don't want to seem eloquent and give it all now. So my summary is, I do believe saving is an art. It's a delicate balance between income and expenses, an overview of the past of what you deserve from the previous work and what I should expect from future. So, combining all of this together is just beautiful. So I see it as more of a math problem that I want to solve, a challenge that I want to take. Isn't that the best thing in the world? That's my point.
Talking about math problem, right? For most of the Gen Z or young people, one of the best or one of the first math problem that they need to figure out when they start working is whether they should live from home, which is to save money with their parents, or to rent their own place and to learn to be independent. So I wonder, what would the saving team decide? Do you still live with your parents, or you decided to spend money and rent your own place? Or for example, for Jim, you talk about making money with lemonade stand. With a spending mindset, you need to buy raw materials, you need to invest to do that. If you're in a saving mindset, you can simply do nothing. So my question is, sometimes do you agree we need to sometimes spend some money to make money? Or even is spending money a great motivating factors to making money? Thank you.
I do think that's a very good point. You need to spend more to save more. But here's the thing, because spending money, it's a habitual behavior, right? Like you're kind of getting used to spending money. And there's a old Chinese saying says, once you get used to posh life, it's very hard to go back. And this is what we need to think about, especially for a Gen Z young generation. If they have this fancy posh life, how can they go back to review what they deserve for now? And also, especially for Jim, mention this lemon squeeze. Sorry, we keep mentioning your lemon story.
Lemonade.
Yes, that lemonade stand story. This is what you mentioned, either to live with your parents or you rent a new room. It's only under the limited resources that need to reconsider and rethink. That is what I mentioned, the math problem, the math question, interesting, laid out in front of all the young people. And that's why I find it so fancy and interesting. And also, what's the capital of saving money in your pocket already? You feel more like, oh, I'm ready to go either ways. Otherwise, without any penny in my pocket, how can I just, I want to do this more fancier. I want to choose with my parents. There's no option left, right?
I have one point to add. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so yes, so there is a question. Why do people focus so much on saving or investing? Isn't it for that so they could have more time in the future to spend, right? So we spend our money in order to spend them after all. Otherwise, there would be no point in saving or investing. The key is to spend less than you earn, but still enjoy life in the present, isn't it?
I think the questions we're talking about today is that would you prefer to live a lavish lifestyle without saving money? So what Ina and Valeria just talked about is the necessity of the things that you will have to spend on, like renting an apartment and eating food. I think this is the point we're talking about, the lavish style without saving money. Would you like really exchange your security to a fancy Chanel bag, a PS5, the things that you don't actually need it necessarily?
But calling something fancy is also a really personal thing, because some people might say a PS5 is fancy, but some people might also say, oh, you're going on vacation this year, that's, you know, abroad, for example, that's kind of fancy. So from my point of view, many of my friends, let's say, had the new PS5, new Xbox, something like this. But my parents made it a priority that we go for a vacation every year, even somewhere in Poland. And I feel like this is also an important thing, that something that might seem fancy to some other people. Oh, this family is going on vacation every year. But it opened our heads so much. The experience was very much worth it. So I think spending on something fancy is also kind of a personal thing to say. Like some people think some things are fancy, while others just value the experience more. And this is another thing that I wanted to talk about, which is investing, sometimes spending on something not material. So you're not, I don't know, investing in stocks or investing in gold or buying I don't know, a PS5, but just buying yourself a nice trip, or maybe buying yourself a course, spending your money on a hobby. I think this is investing in a way. This is while it's spending, it's still investing. So I think spending, saving and spending, they really go both ways for many people. I think things that are fancy for some people might not be fancy for others, and the other way.
I agree.
We have 20 seconds left for the saving team. 20 seconds left. So Jim, you haven't said anything. Do you want to use it?
Yeah. These are all great points. I think for me, the thing about it is money can get you anything. Going back to the lemonade stand example, I was taking lemons from our family tree and turning them into lemonades. So my costs were very low. I didn't have to spend, and I was able to turn that into money. And that money I could then use to purchase whatever I wanted, whether it was money I wanted to save or money I wanted to spend. So I think for the spending and specifically for our saving side, money has a lot more potential.
Jim, thank you. Thank you. You are teaming up with two very aggressive ladies. So don't save it for the second. You won't get any chance. And we have 3 seconds, only 3 seconds left for the spending team. Who's going to use the 3 seconds?
I just want to say, first of all, Jim, you win. But then also, I think there's nothing wrong of being posh or fancy as long as you're spending your own money and you're spending money that you have.
Thank you. Yeah. 3 seconds. And thank you, everyone. Before we review the final results, Wuxi and Mahal, take a second to digest your. And I also see many comments coming in from the social media platforms. There's a Gen Z from YouTube saying, I am a Gen Z, but still believe that saving money is extremely important. I would never purchase things that I never need. So, well, that's really impressive. It's really hard to do that. Guys, are you able to do that? Never purchase things that you never need?
How do you know you don't need something unless you purchase it?
That's like a trick question, right? Never purchase things you never need.
Yeah.
I think there is a fine line between wasting money and spending it, right? Like, it's obvious that wasting your money is buying something you don't need it, but you basically just want it. And spending money is on things that you actually need. It's more about how you feel yourself, I think.
And yeah, it's like sometimes you just need a lesson. But yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to spend money to please yourself. You know, you probably won't get it, but money can buy happiness sometimes for them. And there's a millennial saying that I am a millennial and I've learned to be frugal with money. And also I see, we talked about saver and spender, but I see an investor here saying that I would invest my money in stocks, crypto, gold, treasury bills, real estate, and have some emergency funds. So that's also a solution, right? What do you think about it, investing?
Investing is good, not in crypto.
I heard that in the modern world, saving money in bank is the quickest way to lose it, isn't it? Yes, and none of rich people became rich by getting interest from the bank, I think. I don't know anyone.
I also heard that investing in stocks is probably the only way leading to the so-called financial freedom, because you need to make sure money can make money while you're still lying down, instead of you utilizing your own labor to make money. And once you stop and money stops being made and pouring into your pocket. This is what I heard when I was super young from a wise mentor to me, which I haven't achieved yet.
Yeah, but that's
like
another tricky
thing. So yeah.
I think the problem here is that we are a bunch of people living with privilege, you know. Well, there are so many people losing their jobs during the pandemic, and we're talking about investing in yourself, making an investment, and pleasing yourself by buying stuff, by going on vacations. You know how many people, supporting their money so hard. I mean, supporting their life so hard, supporting their family so hard during the pandemic. So this is just a question of, your financial status.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and also we have different people talking about their opinions. We had a video about it, so let's take a look at the videos.
I prefer saving money.
I prefer spending my money.
Spending over saving.
Spend money.
我会更喜欢花钱。
30岁之前盲目消费是可以接受的。
Spend money and save money at the same time.
I will invest on myself.
Spend more money on entertainment and social activities.
So we were talking about the comments from the social media platforms about their views on spending and saving. And I saw there's an audience named Danny Guy saying, fun fact, most people in the US couldn't handle a surprise $400 expense. This knowledge influenced me and my other friends who are Gen Z to stay at home, save our money as much as possible. Obviously, you want to enjoy yourself and need to eat and clothe yourself, but with inflation, and incoming recession, stagnant wages, why would I not want to have a monetary cushion to fall on if I need? So I think that's a very interesting fact here. And do you think inflation is changing people's consumption habits now? Mahal, anything?
Yes, no.
Definitely. I think at least from what I see in Poland, we're almost at 20%, which is ridiculous in a way. But it's such a tight balancing act. I think it really sums up everything that we've talked about. Because so in this time of inflation, something like saving money and just putting in a sock or putting in somewhere deep within your basement or something, it just doesn't work that well, because you're saving just because your currency is losing, then your savings are just becoming smaller and smaller. So this time emphasizes how money has to flow. So for example, investing, it's better to invest than to leave it just in your basement. But at the same time, investing can be risky too, because some investments, like let's say crypto or well, any investment really, it's still not cash in your hand, so to speak. So for some things, when you invest, you have to wait on the return, for example, before you withdraw it. So in the case of an emergency, this might not be the best idea either. So it's better to have that cash in your hand, but then this cash is losing value. So it's such a balancing act. And I think it really emphasizes how it's important to have that emergency fund. So even if you spend a lot, even if you keep that money flowing, but still have the emergency fund just in case.
And Lara, tell us, what is it like in Belarus?
Yeah, we have the same situation as Michal, because our countries are like too close, like Poland and Belarus. So we have the same situation, and I think that investing is not a good way to save your money, because there are a lot of problems like with inflation or so. Yes, the more you put into a bank account, the less you will turn from it. Yes, and get less cash, I think.
Okay, thank you. And I think Gushi just had something to add, right?
When you just pop out the question, I just wanted to say a big yes. That's why I was just so ready to switch my side. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So we are moving on to that section now. Okay, now she joins the spending team. That's her decision. Decides to turn code. And Mahal, would you like to?
I wanted to turn code too, because I was thinking about the poll results in the beginning. How almost everything I said about spending money is also connected to saving money in a way, and I'm still like really in the middle. But I would have to go. I feel like the poll results which we had in the beginning really reflected what I feel as well. This saving 65% and spending 35%. This is like the thing that even if I'm spending, I'm also trying to save something by spending. So yeah. I wanted to turn code as well before I heard Gushi's decision.
Okay, so both of you choose to betray your current teams out of the same reason. Okay, we still have a 3 versus 3 situation here, another tie. Congratulations, both team. Well, I guess that's actually a good illustration that there's no right or wrong arguments, because like we said, sometimes you have no choice but to spend. But if spending is done right, it's still an equity. And there was a comment went like, make your decisions based on what makes you happy. We only have one life, you only live once, and we should do everything we can to enjoy it. So everyone has their own priorities and our own ideas of joy. So just be kind to yourself and those that you come in contact with. Well, I think that concludes our talk today. Thank you so much, everyone, for your inspirational ideas and words. Thank you so much for watching What's the Talk, and I hope you've learned something. If you have any more questions or concerns, comment and let us know. Remember to follow us, and hope to see you again in the next episodes of What's the Talk. Thank you. Bye-bye.